It looked like a dog, you know. They call it like the dog man or something. I mean, this thing was built. I mean, this thing was rugged. I mean, it's something I wouldn't want to tangle with it, you know.
One night, I'm sitting there and I had a dead body in my bed.
Yes, that's when I started hearing the doors opening and closing and them walking through the house.
Giant ruby-looking thing appeared in front of me, then one next to it, then a third next to it. The third one opened up a porthole in my room.
Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I am your host, John Methenkamp. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, and you'd like to be on the show, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook at Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. You can message me there, and I'll get back to you. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. Leave me a comment there, and I see every one of them. I will reply to them, and we'll get you on the show. You can also follow us on Spotify. Don't forget to leave that 5-star review, comment, share it out to your friends, neighbors, maybe even people you don't like. I don't care, as long as you're sharing it out. Tonight we have Natalie returning, and she has some very interesting stories that border on true crime as much as they are paranormal. So sit back and enjoy the show. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. My beautiful secretary, sitting right across from me, will let me know, and I'll push you on your face like I just did Natalie. And then I'll hit guest, and then you'll come in a box right about there, and we'll hear your paranormal encounters. That wasn't paranormal. I accidentally kicked my camera, my tripod.
Oh,
Natalie, how are you?
hi there. Hello.
Whoa.
Okay.
How are you tonight?
Good. Well, so I leave Friday nights and go to this hospital that's it's about 53 minutes away, 47, 53. And I don't leave until Monday morning, this morning. Well, this morning I had to do CPR training, and we were up all night with stuff. And so it's been a long day.
I guess. So what do you have for us tonight? I know you were making some notes and you were going to come in and...
There was this app. Do you remember this app that I think it was a lot of kids were using it, and you'd set an intention and ask it to take you somewhere?
Never heard of that.
See, that's why I set this up, because I was going to Google it, because I forgot the name too. It was an app, and we all had it downloaded, and we were going to enact it. And usually I couldn't tell this story, but as of the last holiday, the cat got out of the bag in the family, so I can tell the story now. Yeah, love the holidays. Yeah, the alcohol should be banned. It was like a geo tracker finding.
Like geocaching?
No, like intention.
Old Abe, do you know what she's talking about? You're usually the one to come up with the instant fact checking.
Let's see here. So weird. There's some noise over here. But it was really popular in YouTube. It really took YouTube over. I wish I could think of it. But a lot, somebody found a dead body one time. I mean, there were police involvements a lot in some of the stuff. But so we asked it to take us. I had my grandsons for like the week during the summer, and they were like, "Let's do it, Mamie." They're like 12 and 13, and that's a big draw to them. They're like, "Let's do it, Mamie, let's do it." So I relented, and we did, and the sun was just about to go down anyway. And we set like 3 intentions, nothing happened, and I go, okay, that's it. And they're like, one more, just one more. Okay. I said, well, if you're going to do one more, then you got to go for the gusto. Make it frightening, scary, something. They go, okay, yeah, let's make it scary. So we put the thing in and told it we're setting our intentions to take us to something scary. And when we got there, I had to start videotaping because it was a pretty decent sized cemetery, but almost every last name was the same. And it's the last name of my grandson's bio dad.
Oh, wow.
That he in the car, and he does not know about that.
Huh.
Yeah, and to me that was very scary.
Yeah. I've said this over and over in this live. I do not believe in coincidences.
Right. And this last name, if I told you this last name, you would say that's not a common last name. I was shocked to find a cemetery with that, and it's a German weird last name, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up and see what app that is. I don't recall hearing about that.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, you know what we could do? We could ask.
Random.
You could ask Chat GPT.
We could. I've got both my phones hooked up to lives right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to type it in the thing.
Old Abe says it's Randonautica.
Yes, it is. Correct.
My people in my chat, they are all over this stuff. Old Abe.
Yeah, that's the one.
He's like Chat GPT for my live.
No, I was going to ask Chat GPT if he could tell me what it was.
You don't need him. We got Abe.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Abe GPT. That was my dad's name, by the way. So that's really
Abe.
cool. Abe. Yeah, so he's letting me know Abe's here.
Right.
There's no coincidences.
That's
so
right.
do you remember last night you asked me if I had seen a full body apparition? Yeah, it still is a little bit overwhelming to me because I was Daddy's girl. I didn't date for the last 2 years of my dad's life because he and I did something every Friday and Saturday. Yeah, we went dancing at the VFW. They always had good country band. We two-stepped, you know, and we showed horses from the time I was about 12 years old. He bought me my first Harley at 12. I got in a chase with a highway patrolman. And
what kind of horses did you show?
I showed Hackneys and Belgians.
Okay.
We raised Belgians. We always ran between 60 and 100 head of Belgians. And then we had barn, and that's where my Hackneys stayed. You know, they're gated. They've got the Viceroy. And
I grew up on a horse farm. We rode Tennessee Walkers.
yeah, so you know about the gate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're gated just like Walker. They're just smaller, so you probably even know what a Hackney is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never did. I bought the hoop, but I never did find turnout. I always wanted to. I have fantasies about it even. It was pretty cool.
So what about this full body apparition?
I asked about the full. So me and my dad pretty tight, right? Like I sat at the funeral home the entire, however many days, I think it was 3 days before the funeral. It was an odd amount because my birthday fell on there, but I wouldn't sit on my birthday with it and wouldn't leave. I mean, from the time they unlocked the door, lots of little old ladies left crying. Just it couldn't even come and say anything to me. But I even moved back the last year of his life. I lived with him. I moved back from Atlanta, and he goes, "Oh, you know, before you decide where you want to go, just come back to the farm for a while." And I did, and so that was really cool. But so I was over at my daughter's one day, and I was just a tremendous amount of stress, right? And I was trying to help her out. I'm cleaning and watching the kids, and I'm running in and out of the house, getting like the hose to water the plants and setting up plant food. And I run out there at the end, and just in the peripheral of my vision, I can see this guy standing there in plaid shirt and jeans, and I thought, well, I know that's not for me, so I just turned and burned and went back in to go find my daughter. And she was work at home stuff, and I like somebody's here. She knows he's coming because they live way out in the country. And she goes, no, nobody. And I went back out there and he wasn't there. And all of a sudden it dawns on me, because of the way he was standing, that was my dad. I mean, if I showed you, I showed my cousins, I said, because he was standing there like this, and they go, oh my God, that was Abe. Yeah.
Is that how he dressed?
Huh?
Is that how he dressed?
Yeah. Oh, yes. He, plaid shirt, that was his everyday stuff, plaid.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. At least, it was just a fleeting glance, but at least you got to see him.
Right, exactly. Well, to know that he's there when I'm under stress, that's when those things happen, But I was going to say, this takes me to the next thing. He, just recently, when I just bought this house, and like 2 years ago, finally made it uptown to see friends. They still go to the same little tavern. And I went in there, and before I left, somebody walked up to me and put their arm around me and goes, oh, I just want to tell you, I got to tell you a little story about your dad. He said, I was driving Dishman's big fertilizer truck heading out of Helena, going south, and he said, I locked him up. I almost hit that old man. He's sitting dead stopped in the middle of the road, and he wasn't moving. He said, I thought something was wrong with him, had a heart attack or a stroke. So I go up there, and he's sitting in there crying, holding Dishman's dead collie because he hit him. I mean, that's the kind of, he always carried feed. Like, he always had oats and corn and a case of dog food and a case of cat food and a bag of, what was it, meow mix? Yeah. And he ever see any animal hungry, he'd feed them. He fed them long enough, he took them, Well, people start dumping on us, right? I got my own place, people still dumping on us. As a matter of fact, there's so many stories. So I got back from Atlanta, and I just got my daughter back from her dad from the summer, and we're sitting there. It's 11 o'clock at night on Saturday night, and we're not doing anything. And I go, let's go get the mail, right? We go up there, and I get there, and I go, shh, stop. I go, do you hear that? And it was a kitten meowing. Somebody had dumped a brand new baby kitten at the mailbox. Now, how did I know at 11 o'clock at night to go up there to get that kitten before it got its way onto the highway where got hit and killed? That was crazy. I still can't get over that one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever checked my mail at 11 o'clock at night.
Right. So my sister, because of all this, they went ahead and started a little animal rescue, right? Well, it turned out, 10 years ago, it was the largest one in this 4-state area. And they had, 1,000 animals there at one point. And so they opened up a vet clinic. And I'm a vet tech also. I've done 100 different things. And I managed that vet clinic. And at one point, they had 5 doctors, 3 surgeons going and 2 see 200 patients a day, 100, about 80 to 120 on each side. And my dad died, and we had this funeral, and we all go, you can believe how long this funeral was. I mean, so many people. He was a good guy. I mean, he helped a lot of people and never said a word about it. And we finally get to the cemetery, and, of course, the family gets there first. We sit in the chairs, and we're waiting for everybody to gather around, right? This random dog, like he was elected from the animal kingdom, comes and lays prostrate on top of my dad's casket. I kid you not.
Really?
I could get 10 people to testify right now.
The random dog walks into the funeral home and
to the cemetery.
up to the cemetery and just lays.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like he was elected from the animal kingdom to come and pay homage.
Right.
Which I believe that. I totally believe. And I'm going to tell you another thing. I think, have you watched these dogs where they touch the buttons, and the cats? I think cats are maybe even a little bit more proficient at it. And now there's a cow. And I almost had to quit eating beef and not eat ribeye. That's, I'm a cowgirl. But after seeing that cow talk and the things she was saying about how she felt about situations, even, I'm like, you know what? Here's the deal. They understand our words perfectly. They cannot replicate them. And I'm like, oh gosh, I hope I was good and kind to every animal, you know?
Yeah. So okay, are you in like you said you're in Georgia?
No, Missouri,
Missouri. Okay.
way up in the northwest corner.
Okay. So your dad was from Missouri as well?
Well, originally Kansas.
Okay. Okay. I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you said, is it Missouri?
I moved to Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's where I picked it up. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, I don't know what all I was going to say about that. What a deal. Yeah, that dog just comes, I mean, nonchalantly. That
is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I got one day, my parents were both workaholics, and we had a really nice horse farm because of it, And they both left on Saturday. I always knew all of the things I had to do from Friday night's horse auction. If we were close enough, we would keep horses, and people didn't bring their trailer, they'd go home and get it. And so the first thing I get up, I got to go warm the horses in the barnyard, because got to sequester them there till you can, And so I go down there and I'm about to worm, and for some reason, I don't know why, I went down the hill in the barnyard a little ways, kind of like a ditch. And I mixed that dewormer and that grain in one of those round rubber things, set it on the ground, and I get the whip to, just in case, because those Belgians they'll come over that fence. They don't care if there's feed. And so I get the whip, just, because they'll go away, just a little bit. Well, that horse, that new horse, he doesn't know me, and why I'm over there on the other side with the whip. Well, here comes one of the girls, so I kind of give it a. That horse spun around so fast, kicked me, broke 3 of my ribs, kicked me so hard he threw me down in that ditch. I could not get a breath. I couldn't stand up, and I'm there alone. Right? Oh wait, this is the craziest thing. On the horizon, I look over and I see my dad pull up, get out of the truck, and look like he's looking for something, and he sees me and he comes down and with the pickup puts me on the tailgate. And, yeah, it was crazy. I didn't get a breath until he stood me up. Now how he knew to, I don't know what he was doing back there. It was just the craziest thing. Because when he got momentum, he wouldn't quit for sometimes till he wore out, I'm the same way. But, yeah, that connection, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is crazy.
You seem to have connections with a lot of people.
Yeah, so that's another thing. You know how we were talking about, I'm always trying to chalk it up to something, right? Like I've got a sister that's schizophrenic, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just schizophrenic. Maybe that's all it is, right? Well, so my schizophrenic sister was living in a town just a little ways north of here, working at a battery factory, and I just knew someone was really off with her. And I wasn't working, and my then husband and I were building a house, so I thought, I'll go get a little part-time job at that battery factory, spend a little time with her, and get to the bottom of what's going on, And I don't know how long I had been there, because I'd spend the night at her house. And the house was in disarray. And at this point, some really strange things started happening. Like she had a guy from, I don't know where he was from, but he came and did a psych eval on her at the house, and I'm like, what is going on? This is really weird. And she had gotten turned in to whatever it is, Division of Family Service, but she wasn't telling me the rest of the story. And that's what I was picking up on. So anyway, we're working up at the battery factory, right? So the kids in the process get taken away from her. She's staying at my mom's little retirement condo thing with her, and she's not supposed to have her there. And I think it was 3 or 4 nights after she had been there. I couldn't sleep this night. I was still up at 4:30 or 4:45, I think it was, when my mom finally called me and said, Natalie, the FBI were here and they took your sister. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea, but it sounds like some lady's dead. And it's funny because I can hear my own voice and I sound like my mom. I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm trying to remember how I got to the bottom of this story. I don't know if my mom finally found out but my sister had gone and made a police report. Yes, my mom did find out. That's what it was. She'd gone and made a police report that a lady was going to overtake another lady and give her a cesarean and take the baby. Yep.
Wow.
So I go on. No, she's up in that town at the battery factory, right? At the local cop shop with the FBI. I just go on to the battery factory. I go to work. And it gets to be about 9:30, I think. And I get an overhead page to go to HR. So I go to HR, and it's the police department, and they want to know. They say, we have your sister here, we're interviewing her, and we have another suspect, but he's deaf, and your sister tells us you know sign language and you've interpreted before. And I'm like, well, yes, that's true. So away I go, and now we're both at the police station. Yeah. And anyway, it turns out this is so bizarre. So I can't, I have no explanation for why it happened. I don't know how she had a foresight. She truly believed she heard that conversation between two people. And she went and it was so alarming to her that she made a report. And that is exactly what happened that day, that night before.
Wait, so somebody forcefully did a C-section on somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So did she even know these people?
Well, now when we both know of the victim, because she had worked at that battery factory, and her aunts went to high school with me.
Oh, wow.
And
so maybe the
there's
voices,
there's a book out there. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
like the voices that she's hearing told her that?
Well, now, who knows, right? Who knows?
That's bizarre.
I know. So maybe that broke through her schizophrenia. Maybe that was a word of knowledge or a message she was supposed to deliver, and it broke through the schizophrenic barrier.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
We both end up at and every TV station from Kansas City was there. Every single one. One from the next town between the two, with their big mobile trucks and their satellite, and we had to walk through that. They got footage of us walking through that.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah. Okay. So now my other sister, okay, she and I had several businesses in this town, St. Joseph. We had like an interior shop, and I did draperies and upholstery and, just stuff like that. And she also had a what do you call it? Like to make money for the nonprofit animal rescue. There, it was a thrift store, right? But it was a really nice thrift store. And honestly, my mom went around and bought clearance stuff that we put in there, And my mom loved to shop. So my sister loved it there, and she wanted to be there all the time, and really was there a great deal of the time. And we met several people, and the boys, my sister's kids are my kids' age, and so that we're close. We're all close. So like I would go over to the store, and I might see Willie there at the register, my nephew. Oh, hey, Will, what you did, blah, blah, blah. And his friends would, cycle through there to see him and sometimes find some stuff, maybe buy stuff, right? And so a couple of them got to be pretty regulars, and we knew them by first name and stuff. Megan was one of them. I even took her out to my house, and she helped me paint a little bit one day just for fun. And then there was this other little girl. I'm trying to remember her name, and she had a friend, and they always came in. Sometimes the friend's dad would pick them up at the corner because he would get off work and they would walk that far from school. But one day those two came in, and she bought a little swimsuit, and they were going to the pool. And they went to change, and they both go in the change room, and for some unknown reason, the one little girl leaves the change room, goes back out around the fence of the pool, and is looking for something when a man in a car stops, opens the door and to the car, and she gets in it, and we never see her again. And to this day, it's a case that's never been solved.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so I go to now my
podcast now.
huh?
We're going into true crime podcast now.
So my other sister, I was working at a radio. One of the things that I did marketing. I was in pharmaceutical marketing and ag marketing, and I started out at like Beringer Ingelheim Animal Health, and then I went to Phoenix Pharmaceutical Animal Health. It's no longer in existence. They sold out to Bayer, but great mentor. I had the guy that owned that. Awesome, brilliant guy. And what was I going to say about that? Darn, I hate it when I lose a train of thought. That's funny.
Normally when I start talking, I just go on tangents and I just fall off the tracks. There's no train.
Right? But anyway, I know I was talking about taking Megan out to the house, and okay, yeah, I'm back on track. And so it was my sister was throwing a 40th birthday party. Was it 40? No. She was having a 40th birthday party, and my niece was coming into town. And so we were all, my sister's friends, they're not, we don't have the same set of friends. But it's her birthday, and my niece is going to be there, so I'm definitely going. She's coming from Manhattan, Kansas. And I get there, and it's quite a bit of people. Till pushing midnight, it's quite a bit of people. But there's this one guy, and I'm single. There's this guy, he's a lot younger than me, and I took my guitar because I thought it'd be something for me to do in case I didn't, I don't match up talking to anybody there. At least I could play. And I kept playing, and I'd move because he kept sidling up, and so finally he says, "Hey, can I play your guitar?" And I'm like, "Oh, he just wanted to play the guitar." Yeah, play it. And so then he played it for a minute, and he set it down, and he goes, if you don't mind, I really feel like I should talk to you. I feel like I'm supposed to talk to you. And no, I don't think so, buddy. And I'm getting creeped out, and it's pushing past 11, and so I start making my way to leave, right? And I say my goodbyes, and I'm unnerved, and I leave, and I get up the next morning, and the phone rings, and it's my sister. And she says to me, "Hey, Natalie, I've got somebody here that needs to talk to you. And I said, oh, no, no, no. No, Mary Beth, I'm not talking. I'm not talking to it. And she said, oh, well, oh, no, just talk to, and hands him the phone. And he says, I know I'm supposed to tell you something. And I go, listen, don't tell me nothing. Please don't tell me anything. I go, I need advice. And I go, okay, here's the deal. You can do one of three things. Because I knew what he was going to tell me and I couldn't believe it. I already knew. We had a cold case there at a convenience store where three guys they knew it was three guys. They could not identify them, could not identify the vehicle, and had no weapon. And this kid's on the phone with me, and he's like, I know that I have to tell you. And I go, no, don't, listen. Here, he goes, but I need advice. And I said, so here's my advice to you. You don't have to tell me, but the same three things will apply. You can, off yourself. You can leave the country, or I don't know, do something really crazy and turn yourself in, right? And he goes, no.
So this was one of these guys that.
He goes, no, listen, I really have to tell you. And so he starts telling me, and we get down the road a little bit, and I know where it's going. And I just stopped him and I said, that's enough. I've heard enough. I know the rest. I think we're done. My advice stands, man. Those are your choices. And we hang up, and I'm sitting there on the porch going, what in the heck? Now it's starting to push once again, 11:30. And I call my mom because I'm so unnerved by this. And I say, Mom, listen to what just happened. I went up to Mary Beth's birthday party. I left because this weird guy. And now this morning they call, and he's telling me about T-Stop. Or not T-Stop, Midway. And mom goes, listen, I've got to go up to Mound City and take, she was doing in-home health care. It was paying like $1,500 a week. It was ridiculous. And so she goes, I've got to take Norma up to have lunch with her daughter in Mound City. I'll call you when I get back. And I spilled it to her, and I said, what should I do? And she goes, listen, I'll call you when I get back. So she goes up to lunch. They have lunch, and while they're there, my mom decides to tell Norma's daughter, I'm trying not to say her name, tell Norma's daughter what I said on the phone, because my mom's now unnerved about it too, right? And unbeknownst to my mother, I don't know how to approach this story. So they get done with lunch. They go back to Norma's house, and as they're pulling up, there's 4 highway patrol, 3 county cars, and 3 city cars, all up and down the street. And she pulls into the driveway, and they walk up to her, and they say, were you just at such and such diner in Mound City? Yes, I was. And did you tell a story about a phone call that you had earlier today? Yes, I did. Can you tell us that story? And so she tells him, and he gets his card out, and he says, ma'am, you need to get on the phone and call your daughter right now and tell her to call this officer, to call this detective at Troop H and get over there immediately and talk to him. So I go over there, and he's real nonchalant. It's the weirdest. It's like, why am I even here? I don't understand any of this. What's happening? How did this all change? Now you're good. We're good. I can go. Okay, cool. I'm leaving then. I thought I was in trouble or something, and I forget about it, and I get to work. How'd this deal go? I think we had a live, and I told everybody about it. Something, but anyway, when I got to work, everybody was standing in a half circle, and they had the newspaper, and the front of the newspapers. After, what was it, 4 years? I can't remember how many years. All of a sudden, after that happens, they've got all 3 of the guys.
So this guy was one of them,
Yes,
and they off somebody.
yes. It was a robbery gone bad.
And he just randomly picks you to come up to confess.
He said he was told to tell me. He was told to tell me.
That is why.
Exactly. How does this keep happening to me? Yeah. So, okay, next gal, Megan. Remember Megan? I was telling you about. She came and painted at my house. So Megan, her family thing is really messed up. I mean, mom and dad, son and daughter, nobody's talking anymore to anybody. And her mom's dad are missing, been missing for 14 years. And what happened? I don't know how it happened. They busted grandma and the son. And it turned out that grandma had gotten an argument with Megan's mother and shot her twice. And they put her in the refrigerator and took her out to the farm. With a backhoe, they proceeded to alleviate themselves of the evidence. And 14 years later, they're out there. They dug it up. So my sister goes, Natalie, you've got to get the paper and read it. So I'm at my house and I walk out and I get the paper. And it's Sunday. We already know about it, but it's just now making the paper, right? And so I read this article, and I read it 3-4 times, and I still come up with the same thing. I'm saying nobody's going to visit Missouri after these stories. And I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying, Lisa, when you read this story, don't you get the gist that they were arguing about switching up the kids because they wanted the boy out at the farm and grandma wanted the little girl with her? And Lisa's like, no, that's not in there. I don't know where that's coming from. And it's like, I was so upset about this because I could read between the lines and get that. So I drove to her house and I said, let's read it together. And we go through it. She goes, and I go, see what I'm saying? And she goes, no, I don't. It doesn't. There's nothing in there that would convey that to me. I have no idea where you're coming up with that. Okay, fine. So I walk around hanging on to that for like 3 weeks. Finally, Megan surfaces, right? And we're all over her. Oh, Megan, oh my gosh, what's happened and what's been going on? And she goes, oh, you can't believe. And now court. And so anyway, I say to her, so I go, I got to tell you what I thought when she goes, that is the craziest ass thing. I can't believe you're even saying this shit to me right now. They made me take a DNA test, and I asked them 1,000,000 times why, and they wouldn't tell me.
So you should be in like CSI.
So, if I had done anything, I wished I would have went to Quantico. Those guys. Yeah. So let me tell you about this book called. I've got a video. One of my really oldest videos has it. It's something like Those Who Walk Among Monsters or something, and his name is. Did I just say it?
I've heard it. I think I've heard of that book.
But he has a he has a paranormal experience in the end of that book that just I was not expecting it, and I mean my blood ran cold, man.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Still can't get over that one. That was a full body apparition.
You are a very, very interesting person. Very interesting person.
Should I write a book or should I just vlog it?
Absolutely write a book. Absolutely write a book.
I think I have to make it fiction because nobody would believe that one person could encounter, and my sister even more so. I mean,
you could dress it up and make a superhero type character. Name him Natalie.
Yeah. That's my Wonder Woman. That's
yes. Yes. Wow. Well, Natalie,
I've got one more real quick one. It's a cute one. It's a heartwarming one.
all
You got
right.
time?
Yeah, I've been doing this for an hour and 50 minutes, and
Oh, real? Wait a minute. Are you not Central Standard?
Eastern.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, that's
I thought about that later. Little important detail. You know what? I'm
yeah.
going to save this one for later then.
Okay.
That's enough.
Yeah, my bladder is telling me I need to end this live.
Yeah, I need water. Thank you. Thank you once again for having me, sir.
Absolutely. I love hearing your stories. So,
It's been a pleasure and a privilege.
well, thank you so much for coming in tonight, and I'll be messaging you after the live.
Sounds good. We'll talk then. Have a good one. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow. I tell you, when I first started this live tonight, at about minute 50, I was thinking, yeah, we're about done. Well, no, this has been the longest live that I've done so far. Because I think the before this it was an hour and 48 minutes. We're now at an hour and 53. So, if you haven't yet, go over to YouTube, subscribe, get your notifications, check out some of my videos, press that like button. Eventually, these lives will be done on YouTube, especially if this TikTok ban goes through. Until then, though, I'm still going to do the lives here on TikTok, Sunday and Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Eastern time, Natalie, Eastern. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share but don't feel comfortable being in the live, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. And I try to read my emails every day, but I'm a horrible host. I really am. Sometimes I forget for a couple days, but I will reply to you as soon as possible. Check out Myths, Monsters, and Mullets on Spotify. I've started uploading podcasts on there. And I guess unless Becca has something to add, she's looking tired. You know, she can be a wimp sometimes. I appreciate everybody coming in tonight, and I'll talk to you later. Gotta go.